Hello guys, today we start very sad. I have some arrows in me, I have a Pillager banner in my hand, but if you look at the bottom of the screen you will see that I am at 8 levels, where I used to be in the 30s. I was just doing some off-camera work, gathering some resources, getting ready for what we're going to work on next. And a group of pillagers got stuck in my beetroot farm, and 2 of them had piercing crossbows, so my shield was doing nothing, and I noticed it too late. And alas, I perished. My first death of the world. How fitting that it is raining. But enough of being sad. Let's get into the episode. What is up, friends? I'm so glad you guys could be here. Help me get over the fact that I was shot by a pillager. And I'm so glad that you're here to have some fun with me in Minecraft. Today is the day. Today is the day that we finally stop dealing with this mess. Or at least we start to solve this issue. I have grand plans for a big storage building that we're going to be putting here behind the house. It's a little weird, you know, tucking it away behind things, but let me show you exactly why I want it there. Over here, across the river, let's get a good look at the base. I think that it is looking pretty darn good. I'm really liking how it's coming together, and honestly, I think it's almost done. Over here we have our most recent addition, and I'm planning on doing a few more pedestals over here with the deep slate so that it's not quite so lonely. A little bit more work needs to be done here in the front. I have some fun plans for this big cave. The main thing I want to do with this build is fill in this area here and kind of solidify the shape of the whole base. If you look from the top of the bamboo here and the top of the towers here, we have kind of this triangle shape pointing this way. Our storage building is going to have a big tower on it that's going to end somewhere up here. And what that's going to do is create this big triangle. And that is going to be the main shape of our base. So we're going to get working on that project. In the near future, we're going to finish up this area, and then we're going to be moving on to something new, something exciting. So this building back here is going to be quite large. Definitely the biggest thing we've built in this world so far, and that means we're going to need a ton of resources. We have a few things in this chest, more or less to the right amounts. We need a ton more stone, and not cobblestone, but actual stone, and since I don't have Silk Touch yet, I'm going to have to smelt that. Maybe I'm doing this a little out of order, but it's how I'm choosing to do it. I'll get more coal in the future. And a bunch of wood. I honestly don't think this is going to be enough. So, first thing we're going to do is start gathering some resources. And kind of a weird contrast to the stuff I was just telling you about, we're going to start by building a farm for something I didn't even mention. And that's vines. I was growing them on the side of my house. I didn't like it. So I'm just setting up a temporary wall here where I can grow some more vines. There we go. We'll let those grow. And that'll let us introduce mossy variants into our build. Once again, out over the river, I'm going to be building a platform to grow some giant spruce trees where I don't have to worry about podzol spreading in places I don't want it. While we let the trees grow and the vines grow, I'm going to go do some mining. So I've started putting some pillars down to kind of mark out the area where I want this, and as you can see, we're gonna have to kind of chop into the mountain a little bit. This is a little different for me. I've never tried to like slot something into such a small area before, and I kind of designed this build in a more open area, but I am more concerned about how the base as a whole looks. So I think this is going to work out fine, and it's going to be a good functional storage building. So I'm going to start chipping away at this area a bit to see if I can get ready for putting the build in. And my hope is that we're not going to accidentally break into this cave. I don't know how far it goes that way, but if we do, it's not going to be the biggest deal, but we'll have to deal with mobs and light it up a little bit. But I guess we'll see what happens. And would you look at that, we broke through. Well, looks like we're gonna have to deal with some caving. So this cave, whenever I look into it, it is full of monsters. I feel like it is one of the only places where mobs are able to spawn around here, which is interesting. That means there's not too much below us. I'm gonna head in, start lighting some areas up. If things get a little dicey, I'll probably back out and then hop back in, and hopefully we'll be able to get a good chunk of this lit up, if not the whole thing. And the welcoming party is coming out already. There are so many skeletons and creepers. I got two skeletons fighting each other. Oh, that one must have a much stronger bow than the other. Alright, we're just mad dashing it. Getting light down. Everything's gonna be angry at us. Everything's gonna be after us. But it should at least prevent them from continuing to spawn. Today, it's just not my day. One death is sad. For some reason, I have this sinking feeling that I'm gonna be getting a lot more than just one death in this episode. But on the bright side, pun absolutely intended, this cave is much better lit up. It should be much safer for me now. I think I do want to try and light up this whole upper area so things can still spawn down there, but I don't have to worry about like a zombie spawning over there and wandering all the way over. Oh, that's a pig. Ah, that pig scared me. Why is there a pig hiding in the shadows? Alright, for now, I think that's good. We'll have to get this area lit up in the future, and I'm planning on doing some stuff down here. Almost looked at that Enderman. There's some tunnels that cut into the ground in the back corner there that we'll have to go explore sometime. But for now, this is enough for me to work on what I'm working on. So, I consider myself to be a somewhat average Minecraft player. I can do a little bit of everything, but part of this series is a chance for me to improve and get better. Like, I can do a bit of building, but I want to get better at building. I can do a bit of redstone, but I want to get better at redstone. I have never terraformed before this series. I want to learn how to terraform. That being said, sometimes I'm going to be trying out new things, and they might not work out. I might make mistakes. Something might not turn out exactly the way I want it to. And tearing away this mountain is a pretty irreversible process, so I hope this works out. But we've got this whole area cleared out for the building, and we got a ton of resources from it, which I'm going to be able to use to kind of build up the platform, the pedestal that it's going to be on. Although I'm thinking I want to try and push this building towards the Mines of Moria as much as I can, which is only going to be like a block or two, maybe 3. And then I think I actually want to push it back into the mountain even further. And then I'll figure out how I want to reshape this area to fit in a little better. This is going to be a learning process for me. This is unlike any project I've tried to do before. So hopefully it turns out. Alright guys, we have our space cleared out and we have our platform. A lot of work still needs to be done before this looks finished. I do want to get started on the build, give you an idea of what it is we're going to be doing here. So, starting on this corner, we're going to create a base of granite. Then on top of the granite, we're going to come in with stone bricks. And we're going to bring this part of the wall up pretty high. So we get a nice tall wall like this. One thing in Minecraft that I've tried to do many times is create parapets. You know, like the little ramparts on top of a castle. And I've had various levels of success with that, but I've come up with a way that I think is going to look good and actually function, because if you try to make them out of like blocks, they're too tall and it kind of blocks your view. But I'm thinking that I can go across this wall and put a slab on every other, and then put a wall between the slabs, and the wall won't connect to the slabs, so it'll just be this little point. And so we get something that looks like this. Now I'm just building up kind of one segment of the wall to give you guys an idea of everything we're gonna do. I think it's looking pretty good. I actually really like how that tops off the wall, but a lot of this wall is a lot of the same. So what I want to do is add some variations in the different sections. Where we have granite, I want to come in and kind of in some semi-random spots switch it out for bricks. I think the granite and the brick go pretty nicely together, especially from a distance. It makes it look like it was all brick, but some parts have gotten really worn down. I think it works pretty well. To give some variation to the stone bricks, if we take stone bricks and vines, we can get the mossy stone bricks, which I think look really good. And then if we throw stone bricks in a furnace, we can get cracked stone bricks, which is another nice variation. So now once again, pretty at random, I'm just gonna take blocks out of the wall. And then in those holes, we're gonna put the cracked bricks and the mossy bricks. And then for even just a bit more variation, we're also gonna add some patches of just plain stone. Spots where it looks like the wall has really gotten worn down over time. So that's a total of 4 block types that are going to go into this wall. And I think it gives it a really cool texture. Let me sleep so you guys can see it in the light. I'm going to need to do a bit more, but that's the basic palette for the wall. Now real quick, I want to show you guys one more thing we're going to do, which is adding some decorative archways in the front of this wall. We're going to start by pillaring up with a spruce log, and then at the very top we'll cap it off with spruce wood. After that we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and build another pillar. Hey dude. Now, I think right there is where we want to start the arch. Ha to you too, pal. So coming off of this stair, we have another stair, right side up, and then another one upside down. Do that on the other side too. And here we take slabs, put them on top of those, come out towards the middle, and we do an upside down staircase there, right side up staircase there. We'll put one of the trapdoors underneath where the staircase is hanging down. We'll use trapdoors to finish the curve of the arch. We'll use trapdoors to connect the stairs into the pillar a bit. And then here on top where it's pretty flat, oh, you know what? I don't want a slab here. I want a trapdoor there. So that instead of being too flat, it's a little more arched. And we end up with a cool arch that looks like this. So we're gonna have a few of these going down the length of the wall. I really like it. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the whole front section in and see how it looks. Why do the pillagers always get stuck in my beetroot farm? Guys, I have a problem. My home is infested with pillagers, and I hate it. Alright, I've made some good progress on the front. This whole left side, I accidentally built it 1 block off. And so when the two sides came together in the middle, they didn't actually come together correct, and I had to... Yeah, it was an ordeal. So this build is squishing pretty tightly up against the rest of the base, which isn't 100% optimal for this build on its own, but in terms of how it's gonna sit with everything else, I think we're gonna be able to make it work pretty well. Alright, we're gonna put a little bit of a roof over this entryway section. Gonna do it out of dark oak, pretty standard normal roof. And as always in this base, we're gonna do our little peak at the end. That'll help the whole base feel uniform. Alright, I've made some good progress. We've got more arches in. We've got the entryway ready, and I have an idea for that centerpiece. If I take redstone and convert it into blocks, I can put them behind the opening. Ooh, that's kind of scary. It's like a really deep red stained glass window. I really like it. We now have an enclosed box. This is such a big, long project, but it's gonna look good when I'm done, I promise. A lot of the detail work hasn't been done on any of the other sides. I'll get to that on my own time. For now, I want to start moving on to the next parts of the project so that we can kind of get a sense of where this is going. For the next part of the build, we're going to get some andesite walls, some cobblestone walls, and some mossy cobblestone walls. Alright, we're going to start by putting granite behind all of these stairs. And we're going to build this up. I think that's about as high as we're going to go. And And then we're gonna fill this hole in, mostly with andesite walls, but we're also gonna do a mix of cobble and mossy cobble in here too, to break it up a bit. Oh, I was trying to jump into my bed, I missed. So with all walls, it all kind of indents in, like we've done on a lot of the builds. So if we continue this all the way around, we'll end up with a nice square tower. So we're gonna have a nice sloped section to bring the lower area up into the tower. And I think we're actually gonna use some birch planks to get some lighter colors in here. And we can add a little bit of texture here by adding in some stripped logs. And there we have it. Roofs on each side. Now we can get back to the tower. Alright, so I've started working on the roof. It's going to be very similar to the roof we put on the cow farm. I hear pillagers. I always hear pillagers. It's going to be very similar to the roof we put on the cow farm, but much bigger. And there it is. The bigger, more bulbous, with inverted colors version of that roof line. And now we can see how that tower fits into the rest of the base, finishing off that triangle like I wanted. So that's most of the exterior done. As per usual, there's still going to be plenty of work to do, but I'm going to go ahead and start getting a bit nicer of an interior in here. So this side of the interior is where we're going to put our new storage area. So if we do something like this, these will be chests. We'll kind of have 4 and then a gap and then 4. So these will be where the chests go, and we're going to divide it with spruce logs. I'm going to pull this wall all the way in like that. Makes the size of the room a little bit smaller, but I'm okay with that. We'll put some sort of door that lets us into this area behind the chests, and it'll be kind of just like a maintenance tunnel. It'll also be a place where we can hide some light. So now I need to go get a bunch more wood and pumpkins for what we're gonna do next. See, what I want to do is take these jack-o'-lanterns and put them between these pillars. And then we're going to use some trapdoors and stuff to cover them up. It'll let us hide the light source. You won't see the jack-o'-lanterns, but it'll keep the room really bright, even up at the top of the room. Why did you wander all the way back here? And you lost your llamas. Well, I hereby declare that your llamas are mine now. Alright, llamas, let's go. So then we cover the jack-o'-lanterns with stairs on the bottom and trapdoors on their faces. So now if we try to put the chests in, and there we go, our first wall is in. So hopefully this gives you guys a good idea of how this area is gonna feel. I just need to finish getting chests, put them in their slots. Alright, the interior is coming together nicely. I've got some fun plans for this side of the room. And over here, it's just a matter of getting materials for chests. So, I guess I'm gonna do that. So something I knew when I built this cow farm is that not only would it be good for food, it will also be an excellent source of leather. And item frames are going to help us sort our storing system a little bit. So, we've got some of the wood types in here now. I want to put mangrove up there. So I'm going to go ahead and get my wood inventory sorted. Oh, it feels so nice to have things organized and not just chaotically stuffed wherever I could put it. So I'm thinking this section's going to be kind of plant-based materials. This section's going to be more stones and things. I've kind of learned with Minecraft that I just need to go with my gut because I'm never going to remember exactly how I stored things. And so if my instinct is to, for example, look for moss blocks in my decorative plants chest, then that's how I need to organize it, because that way in the future when I have that inclination, it's right where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and finish bringing things into the storage building, getting things stored, and then maybe finishing up some details on the build. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. This has been so fun. I'm so glad to have a storage building. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!